Welcome, everyone. I'm so glad you joined us today, and thank you so much. And today we're talking about how to find aligned coaching clients through a scholarship program. And I did this when I first started my coaching business last year. There are so many benefits to it. What we're going to talk about today is what is a scholarship program, all the benefits involved, how I created the offer and the application for people to join, and marketing the scholarship as well, how to select a winner of the scholarship and what happens with the folks that don't win. And then once you're actually coaching, what that journey looks like, the onboarding and the transition, and some final thoughts, and I'll leave it open to some questions. Does that sound like fun? Okay, great. Okay, so just a little brief background about myself. I'm a business coach, and I took a course last year about how to find aligned clients through a coach named Anna Rapp from the Heart-Centered Entrepreneur. And she is just fantastic. And I was learning about, I didn't have a social media presence really, and I was learning to try to find people in a way that was not a funnel-based situation, more relationship-based, values-based. And when she taught us about this scholarship program, I said, this is for me, but I had no idea all the benefits that came from it to make me a better coach, to help me understand about my offer as time went on, and the relationships that I developed over time. So let me give you a brief overview of, first of all, a scholarship strategy is offering people the opportunity to apply for either a free spot in your signature program or maybe a discounted spot. It really depends on you. It could be 3 months, 6 months. It really depends on what you're trying to offer. My particular offer was just one-to-one coaching, and I wanted to do it for 3 months, weekly sessions. So that's the offer that I came up with. Why this really works is because you are giving a free high value coaching package, but you're also receiving your confidence as you're coaching, clarity on the offer as you're going along, the practice to actually sell and talk about it, the visibility involved, testimonials, how to gather those, and ultimately possibly getting paying clients at the end of this. Now, what I received as a part of this process, and it was pretty phenomenal, was the confidence as I was showing up each week. Not only was I receiving confidence, but my coaching scholarship applicants were receiving that as well. I was getting super clear on my niche as I was working with these people and my offer. As I was constantly promoting this, saying, are the people that are out there, are they really responding to what I'm offering here? I got practice on how to launch something, and it was like in a 2-week window. So I knew that that was going to take a lot of time. I got this visibility as I was showing up, and then I realized that I could have taken coffee chats and really used those. Next time I do my launch, I'm going to use coffee chats in a much better way. I was still too new when I did launch this. And you can get paying clients from this in a few different ways. Applicants who don't win but might want to work with you. And there's something that I always offer to the people that don't win, because there needs to be some kind of even exchange there. They took the time to apply for this thing. They took the time to talk to me on an interview, and I always let them know if they won or if they didn't win. And I always follow up with, and because you didn't win the spot, I'd love to offer you maybe 1 coaching hour a month for 3 months, just to get you kick-started, get a feel for how I work, And if you don't decide to work with me, that's totally fine, but at least you've got some direction to go from there. And if the spirit moves you and you want to give a testimonial for your experience with that, that would be great as well. And if they, maybe decide that they don't want to work, but they had a great experience and they want to refer me, that's also a wonderful benefit as well. I will say my personal experience was when I first started, I didn't have a big social media following. And when I started to put this offer together and start to promote it for the 2 weeks, I didn't get a lot of people coming through. But I will tell you where they did come from. And I was working with one client. She was my burnout coach. She was my very first client. She was helping me through corporate burnout. And she was also taking another course. And she said, your offer is very interesting. I have a bunch of women who are in a somatic class that I'm in. And I bet if I put your offer in that WhatsApp chat, there might be some people that are interested. And that's exactly what happened. She advertised this thing and said, hey, I've been working with Debbie. She's fantastic. She's offering this free scholarship. 8 people applied just from that. I was floored. And honestly, from my own promotion, nothing really took off. It was all coming from my client. So that's the reality of that situation. Now, when I put my offer together, I wanted to make sure I was very clear on what was included, how long it was going to be for, and the monetary value that they were actually going to get. So when I first started, I wanted to do a 1-to-1 container for each week for 3 months. And it was valued at $2,000. So they understand the value that they're getting. So I also wanted to get people that were very serious about making this time commitment for themselves. I kept it very simple. And I also wanted to see how many people would come through. Do I have a cap on it? Maybe 10 people, because this is a little time consuming. You have to interview folks. And so I was just grateful to get anyone at this point. And the window for the 2 weeks was ending and 8 people had done the application. With each application, I was really looking into each person's background, business, the answers for the intake form. And by the time these interviews came around, it was great. I knew exactly who they were. We got a great rapport on the call, and I really gave them this one-to-one attention. So the most important thing that I would say is everyone is really interested in the transformation you're going to bring as a coach. And if you can communicate that in your promotion and in your call with these people, and you're also determining if they're a good fit for this scholarship, if they're a good fit with you, if you think you can bring this transformation to them, that's going to be the deciding factor for when you finally pick someone. And I will say, in my own experience, out of the 8 people that came through, they were all very lovely. I was extremely excited to work with each and every one of them. And I also had to manage my energy levels. And I decided I couldn't just pick one. I wanted to pick 2. And I picked a creativity coach and a Reiki practitioner. And for the other folks that were also involved in the healing and somatic world, I kept in touch with them. But not in a way where they're now in a funnel and I'm going to be pitching to them. I just didn't want to do that. I let them know if they won or not. And when they didn't win, like I said earlier, I gave them these 3 full-hour coaching sessions, and it was fantastic. And it was great for the reason of, once I announced the winners, I knew I was going to be balancing 2 people every week. But I could also test the waters and see how many people I could handle by having other folks come through once a month. So I'm now looking at my calendar going, okay, this is like a real situation. And how's my energy? How am I feeling? How are they feeling? Do they actually come back week after week? And I will tell you honestly, while having a 3-month container and doing something week to week, life happened. And life happened. There wasn't enough that happened in between sessions that they felt that they could come back and really like get a lot out of the session. So I started to do every other week. This was starting to change my offer. This was starting to inform, could I bring that transformation in 3 months? Would it actually take 6 months? So I started to think about that. And ultimately, at the end of the 3 months, I really wanted to continue to work with them for a couple of reasons. One is I was invested at this point personally, like I really wanted to see this transformation, and the 3 months wasn't enough. And I also didn't want to stop coaching. I wanted my calendar filled with this. It was building my confidence. I was learning about myself. I was learning about their business. But I also had to be very careful not to like be codependent on what happens if they go away. You know, sometimes you need to sit with the silence and be comfortable with the fact in your business that if you don't have a regular coaching client, you need to do other things in your business. There needs to be other focuses. And I'll tell you exactly what happened with that. So I started marketing. Like I said, 8 people came through. I started interviewing people. I decided upon 2 coaches, and now it's go time. It's time to onboard. It's time to give them the experience that they are like paying clients. We are pretending that, because this is the reality of it. Does my onboarding work? Was it pleasant for them? Was it overwhelming? Did they feel like they were being held and they had the attention that they needed to feel very comfortable? The first session was nerve-wracking, I'll be honest, because you want to make sure that that first impression is really there. And, you know, it can be nerve-wracking, but you vibe off of the people. They know you're there, you're engaged, you want to help them so badly. And it just, everything just kind of falls into place if you don't think about too much about wanting to deliver so much. You're not going to be able to cram it all in one session. There are many other sessions to come. So for onboarding, I always made sure that I reminded them about the session. I'm excited. Is there anything that you want to focus on? And the first session specifically, I have my own ideas, but like it was like a partnership. And we would have our session, it would be recorded. I want to make sure they're comfortable with recording. It would summarize what we talked about, but I wouldn't just rely on the AI notes. I would always like do my own thing and send them a recap with not only the video, but also my own notes. And then looking ahead, what we might want to think about in the next week's session. And that was the flow. Some people really liked that. For some, that was too much information. And I had to understand the client's preferences. And so this is good. This is very, very good. Because I had two scholarship students that were very different in their personalities and in their approach. So this is perfect. And so I will say that it is going well. And I will say that the onboarding and seeing their transitions happening, where in the beginning their confidence wasn't there, and then as time went on, their body, they were confident, that you could just see it in their being. It was beautiful to witness just by having that partnership and that communication. Now there's trust. Now there's a rhythm. And now they're looking forward to things. But the holidays are coming. So we're working together for a few months, and then the holidays come around. The year is ending. Before the year ends, I make sure of a few things. I'm communicating with them all the way to make sure that I'm talking about their wins. Let's remind them about those things. I'm always in touch with them to see if there's anything that's like missing for them, and reminding them that this container is coming to an end. And I offered a few things. I wanted to ask them if they would be so kind as to give a few sentences or a video, however they are comfortable in communicating about this experience. Because they validated my offer in the first year, I wanted to give them the opportunity, if they wanted to continue to work with me, that I wanted to give them like a founder's rate for next year if they decided to continue. So that was like my year end. Thank you for working with me. It's such a pleasure this year. And it worked out great. You know, I got the testimonials. I got this amazing experience. I mean, I think the hardest part was truly like the launching and marketing piece. Even though it was a 2-week window, it was quite exhausting. Mm-hmm. And then I realized how easy it was when you just give it to the right person who knows people, that like 8 people come through. So like that was pretty amazing. The other folks I did work with once a month for 3 months. I feel that they got value out of that, even though some of them didn't continue with me. It made me realize a lot of times that people, when it comes to free, something that is free versus paid, they will be possibly more invested because they are paying. I just happened to scholarship applicants that I worked with that did take it seriously. They were just very focused. They really wanted this. And I think I picked the right people. For the folks that I didn't pick, I feel as though either it wasn't a right fit or they were very serious. I wasn't right for their business. I wasn't a right coach for them. And that was something that I had to sit with and say, you know, I'm not for everyone. And that's okay too. So it was such a great learning experience. I would say that I now have people in my ecosystem from this experience that I follow them, I watch their content, we're hyping each other up. And it makes me think about, would I want to do this again in my second year? And I say, yes, but I might do it differently. I might do a small paid, lower discount version, because like one very interesting piece of feedback that came back to me, the one person that I coached for 6 months, she said, it didn't feel like an even exchange. You should have charged a little something. I felt weird about it. And that was fantastic to hear, because I needed that feedback. I needed that honesty. That person needs to feel comfortable. And I let her know. I let her know that to me, it was extremely an even exchange. And I listed out all the things that I got from this. You know, it was so important that she knew that it wasn't for free. I almost felt like I got more out of it, to be quite honest. And and so for a first year coach that needs to get some visibility and practice, confidence, clarity, all the things, it ticked all the boxes for me. I was a better coach for it. I was much more confident. And in my second year, as I'm doing more coffee chats, you know, I'm keeping those people in mind. They're not a warm network, because these are people that I wouldn't be my clients. These are my coffee chats are all about fellow business owners who would be happy to say, I know Debbie, she's a great business coach. And if she's got a scholarship, I wouldn't have any problem like forwarding that to my network. And so every coffee chat that I do, and for people that believe in the work that I'm doing and we have a really good rapport, those coffee chats definitely will come in handy next time. Would I do scholarships multiple times a year? No, I think it's a very special kind of offer. I like to do it on my birthday because it gives it a little bit more of a celebratory thing. That's what I did last year. And it was like my gift to them for, celebrating my birthday. And it got a lot of fun promotion from that because people love birthdays, and my birthday this May is coming around. So I'm sitting with it, trying to decide if it's something that I'd like to do again. There is some work involved, but some of the work I've already done. I do have my intake form, my Google form to ask them the right questions. So that's already in place. I do have a lot more people I know now, so I may get some folks that come through there. And I want that experience of coaching another person for free again. I really do. But I think as years go on, that might not be something that I offer going forward. But maybe if I do, it would be for a discounted amount, to the point that the other coach told me, that might be a way to go. So it was really powerful. I think it was a great heart-centered way of selling. I think, like I said, you get confidence, clarity, visibility, and possibly paying clients. So there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's done in a way of integrity and values based. So I think that that's something that sits with me and aligns with me. And I think it's really a powerful strategy if it's done right and everyone feels that they are getting something of value out of it. So that was my experience. I probably could have gone a little bit further into some of the marketing pieces of it. And if that is something that you want me to discuss, I'd be happy to, but that's the general sense of it. Do you have any questions about it, or?
Yeah, I do. So wait, there's an echo here. I don't know if I could do anything about it. Yeah, I wrote some things down. So when you reach out to those who don't make it,
Did not win the,
yeah, what's do you meet with them, on Zoom? Do you send them a letter?
Yeah, that's a really great question. That's a really great question. So when I was on the Zoom with them during the interview, right, I made it very clear about managing the expectations. And I said, I will be making my decision on this date, and I will let you know either way via email that day, whether you got the scholarship or not. And if it turns out where you didn't, I would like to offer, and I put it all in the email, but I let them know on the call that either way, like, they're important, they're a person, they're not just a number or a data point on a spreadsheet. And I'm already invested. I've already spoken to them. I know a little bit about their business. So I would say that managing the expectation on that call before you leave so they understand is important. And those emails went out right away. And some folks wrote back to me, yes, I would love to have a free coaching session with you. Fantastic. Others that didn't, I will tell you that I could tell on the interview call, we were not a match. There were like one or two folks, and that's perfect. That's perfect because that helps you with your decision. And it's just a natural progression. Now, if I just happen to get so many folks coming through, I would have put a cap on that. I would have said maybe 10 at the most. It really depends on you, but that's something that going forward, like, I would think about so that I'm not burning my energy. But yeah, and that worked out really well. Any other questions? That's a great question.
Yes, I do. Do you have some form of application sample that you offer so we can tweak?
Yeah.
Because, yeah, I mean, you can go nuts with all
Oh,
of it.
sure. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about your coaching so I can kind of understand. I have my application right here, but I'm a business coach, so I want to understand like your type of coaching, and maybe we can take some of the questions that I have and tailor it for your kind of business.
So so I have my life coaching, nutrition, and then I added my GLP-1, which is like the big thing now.
Well, let's
we know
do as an example. Let's get, so I would say, what are you trying to, if we're going to do an offer, you've got to get clear on what that offer is. And if you're doing coaching for, like, let's say 3 months, for example, what is the person who is coming to you? What are they like before they meet you? And then after working with you, what is your transformation that you are bringing to them at the end of that coaching package? So that's the first thing to think about. And can you do it in the right time frame? And so this is great. So you're not going to be doing a scholarship program on life coaching, even though you do that.
That's indirect. I mean, that's going to go in there.
So you're niching for this scholarship onto this GLP-1 offer. So that's good. You've already got an audience in mind. Is it men? Is it women? Is it a certain age group? That's something to think about.
Yeah.
What you're offering, can you actually deliver in that time period? And because you don't want to under deliver or over deliver, right?
Yeah, that's an excellent point. I think if you can learn how to do that mind-body connection and really listen to your body, this can be, it's a lifetime, as long as you do it.
Powerful transformation for someone, right? So you would be guiding folks with your methodology, and so this is a great example, and I'm so glad you brought it up. So you are now thinking about this offer, figuring out who your audience is, how long this is going to take, getting crystal clear on that, and then how much would this be worth? Because you need to let them know that the benefit they're getting is worth X amount of dollars, and so they see that value. And so this is going to inform your marketing, who you're going to reach out to. They need to see themselves in this marketing, and they need to, and so where are your people? Are you going to look on socials? Do you have your personal network? Is it large enough where if you did launch a scholarship program, you think you might get some folks in? How many people do you think you want to bring in to this scholarship program before you're like, okay, that's enough for me to manage? That's another thing to think about. So everything is on your offer clarity, your pricing so they understand the value, the transformation you're bringing so they see themselves and they go, I want that. The time frame so that you understand I can deliver this with your whole heart. And so because I struggled with this and I said, can I claim to get people clients in 3 months? Absolutely not. But can I claim that people that I work with will get clear on their offers, pricing, messaging, and sales so that they can be set up to get clients? That I can live with. That has integrity. So you need to think about that before you have your messaging.
I need to define it.
Yes.
What it is, by how, that's what you just gave me. Where, how long is it going to do, the percentage? How do I measure it? The person has to see it. I have to show them. Yeah.
Take your time. You need to believe it and have it like work for you so that when you're promoting this, you are 100% confident you can deliver this thing. And that's why I have this little little icon here. I love this little icon because what I do is I always try to take people's ideas that might be scrambled in their brain. They've got so many great ideas, and you just got to kind of like map it out so it's super clear. Yes. And the more clarity you have, and as long as you're doing it in a way that's integrity based, and you're always thinking about putting yourself in their shoes always. If you were on the receiving end of this offer, would you be attracted to it? What would you want to know? What's missing? Trust is very important. How can they trust you? So when you're doing the marketing for this thing for the 2 weeks, you need to have a variety of promotional pieces, not where it's just like, hey, sign up for my scholarship. You need to get really into the details about why somebody would actually want this free thing. And some of those components, you're going to show up consistently with this value-driven content. So always think in terms of that. Sharing your story and your why is this so important, is a very big thing for folks. They need to relate to you, they need to trust you, and to tell your story and to show up is very important. They want to see your eyes, they want to hear your voice. That's how they trust you. I realized that when I was putting up just posts, those wouldn't get very much engagement, but when I showed up and I spoke,
oh yes,
that was a lot more engagement. So
for
definitely
sure.
That. Think about the common objections that might come up for folks and address those in your content. Do a little behind the scenes so that they understand, a little bit about you and your business, your values as a person. And then as you're getting closer, you get more reminder posts about the deadline, so you fill those in there, you sprinkle those in. And where you would promote this would be your primary platforms, perhaps your email if you have a newsletter, your stories, and in some of your communities. And just the most important part about this 2-week stint is checking in with yourself for your energy. Because it can feel, with the rest of your business that you're running, it can feel like a bit of a race because you are promoting this thing. And the reason why you're doing it daily is, folks have short-term memory. They're scrolling on. We're not the only people that are promoting things, right? And they need the constant reminders. I think a lot of people that do these scholarships feel bad about bothering people, being annoying, constantly showing.
Yes.
You've got to kind of just like reframe that by saying, I have something that is really important and I think can help people. So I like to, promote this over and over again, just to make sure that my people found it. They have the opportunity to apply. And you want to make sure that when people are applying, that you're giving yourself the opportunity to get enough time to interview and read through the applications. So after the 2-week promotional period, give yourself another couple of weeks to schedule these things in.
Yes.
And then, there's a deadline after that. Like, you don't want to have people apply and then think, okay, she's going to make a decision at the end of that deadline date, because that gives you no time to interview people. It gives you no time to take these things here, and you're scrambling. So it's going to be like 2 weeks of promotion, and then application dates end here. Now the interviews begin. And then the final decision is on this date, and give yourself enough space to do that so that you're not rushing, and they're really doing this in a way that honors your energy. Focus on the service part of it, not coming from desperation, because people smell that from a mile away. And during this time, it is so important to lean on your hype squad, either your family, your friends, your friendly business owners, your peers, your colleagues. because this period of time, when you're posting and you're getting maybe not too many likes or whatever, it could be a little demoralizing and make you stop the motivation, make you second guess yourself and feel bad, and your confidence gets low. Your first launch is not going to be perfect, and I'll tell you, if I didn't have my burnout coach that sent it to the WhatsApp, I might not have gotten anyone, but that's okay. I went through the process. Luckily, I did find folks, and it was a great experience to test my endurance in terms of, can I market how am I feeling during this marketing period? Am I feeling like a little icky? Am I showing up authentically, or do I feel like a salesperson on a commercial? Because I don't want to do that. And every time I felt uncomfortable, I had to lean into that. And I talked to my business coach because I needed someone there with me. And I was in the middle of this course, and this was part of her course. And so that was brilliant. She was supporting us every step of the way. And I was like, oh, this is so smart. This is great to have someone there. She looked at every post before we put it out there. She had a set schedule for us. I mean, it was brilliant the way she did it. And so, like I said, it was a marathon, but a great experience for everyone involved. Do you have any other questions that you can think of as you're going through this and you're trying to figure out, like, okay, who would I target? How much would it be? What would my marketing look like? Where are my people? That image that you have in your mind about this specific person needs to be reflected in your marketing so that you're speaking directly to them, so that there's no mistake because if you cast a very wide net, you may not get the people that are appropriate for this scholarship program and the results that you are trying to give people and get great testimonials from as proving that this offer works. And listen, as you're deciding who wins and as you're working with that person, you are going to learn so much about if you need to pivot this offer for the future, or if this is like, oh yeah, this is the one, and I'm just going to maybe feel much more confident about my pricing and how I'm marketing it. You've done all the basic work already for the scholarship launch. It's just a matter of now you're repeating it for paid offers, and you are much more confident about the results that this person received. Always make sure that you're in communication with them, that you're managing their expectations about this program along the way. And as you're getting close to the end of it, I will say this, please make sure that you are reminding them of the wins along the way, because time passes and people forget. They may have the videos recorded, they may have your email notes, but if you make it easy for them to give them, like, it's been great working with you, here are all the things that I'm celebrating with you, they have that right in front of their face when it comes time to do a testimonial. And if you get folks that want to do a video testimonial, those tend to be even more impactful, but that is a lot to ask of someone. So it depends on how they like to communicate and the relationship that you have along the way. How friendly you are with them, and, they'll probably be more than happy to do a video if you want to do that. But I don't push. I always leave it open. It depends, because some people come across very well on video. Some people might not. They express themselves so much better in writing. So, yeah. And so I was also very clear on that as we were, getting towards the end, so that they didn't forget that this was, part of the expectation. It's something to definitely talk about in the interview when you're doing that, so they know that that's kind of the exchange that you're hoping for, with all the work that you're giving them for free or for discount. So, so that life doesn't happen and things get busy and the holidays roll around, and then before you know it, like you're waiting 2 months for a testimonial for all the work that you just did. So just keep that in mind as time's rolling on there.
Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, I would say there's so many benefits for it. I highly recommend it, and yeah, and I still keep in touch with the scholarship applicants. I see them, you know, the two people that I took on, the two winners, they are doing so great in their businesses, and there's nothing like that feeling. There's just nothing like that feeling. It validates everything, all the hard work that you put in, and then it gives you the confidence to do this again and again. So yeah,
Excellent.
I will also, not only you'll see this video, but I have my notes here, and I'd be happy to email those to you so you can see everything that I talked about.
I would love it.
Yeah,
I would love it. I would love it.
no
Very
worries.
visual.
I'm happy to do that. And if you have any questions as you're going along through the process, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay.
Yeah, so this was great. This was finding aligned coaching clients through a scholarship program. And I hope for the folks that are watching this on YouTube or on the other socials, get a lot out of it. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. And I think that's it. So have a great day. Thank you so much for joining us today.